What's going on, guys? Naz here on the Spooling Up channel. Hope you guys are well. First things first, I just want to give a big shout out to anybody who's liked, commented and subscribed recently. It all means a lot. Thank you very much for coming along and showing support. As you can tell today, I'm back sitting in the MK2 XR2, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to just use some of the spare time that I've got. I wasn't going to record today. I was just going to come out here, have a fiddle with a couple of things, just try and make good of a few things that, you know, might be loose or are slightly positioned incorrectly. But I thought, seeing as the next video I'm going to be doing is going to be on a brake overhaul, I thought what I'd do is just come out and make an inventory of things that I need, so that it comes, you know, it's a lot easier when it comes to me ordering the stuff online. Last time I looked at the brakes was a few months ago, and I knew that I needed 2 front calipers due to them being seized, and I needed front pads, front discs. I was gonna have a look at the rear cylinders, but because they're really cheap, I was just gonna buy some anyway. Have an inspection of the drums, replace the shoes, and get a shoe fitting kit as well. And then obviously put some fluid in the system and bleed the brakes up, and then kind of, you know, just roll the car backwards and forwards a couple of times on the drive and see how everything's working. But today I was just gonna come out, strip it out like I said, but now it seems like it's worthwhile to record because I've actually got one of the pistons in the offside front caliper moving. So, you know, I'm just gonna document this and just have a look at how things go. But yeah, guys, let's get into the video. Let's have a look at the car. Okay, so first things first, let's have a look at the offside front, so the driver's side in this case. So I have the pads out. Let's have a quick look at the pads. Got a little bit of meat left on them, but anyway, they're just rusted and, you know, they're no good, man. It'll be worthwhile if you're changing everything. Pads aren't expensive, may as well change them too. Got the 2 sliding pins out as well. I'll give them a good clean up before they go back on. Obviously the calipers, now this one wasn't moving before, but now it is moving. The spring clip stuck in it, so I'll be looking at trying to get that removed. I'll probably strip the calipers off today anyway. Discs and caliper carriers will definitely be coming off as well. It's just this side's pretty much free, but the other side's seized. I'll show you now. Right, so now over to the near side front. The securing screw is missing. So the disc wasn't held in place, it was actually coming into contact with the caliper carrier, and that's why before, sometimes when the engine was running, the other side was spinning freely. This side was stuck because it was it had kind of fallen off the hub. Now let's have a look at the caliper. The piston itself is actually seized. I've tried to squeeze it back loads of times. Broke that cheap G-clamp, trying to give it a little squeeze as well. So I've just trying to free it up a little bit, but I'm going to be stripping both sides down now, take the discs off, caliper carriers off, and calipers off as well. In terms of this pads on this side, sorry, these pads seem to have a lot more meat, and they're definitely newer, but I'll just be replacing those anyway, man, because they're getting a little bit chewed up from where I'm trying to push back on them. And like I said before, with the other side, they're only cheap, so may as well just go and do it. But yeah, I'll be stripping the rest of this and then I'll move on to the drums. Right, so got the discs off, pads off, caliper carrier off. Time to just go for the caliper now. So just undo that braided hose there, get the caliper off, and then once it's off, I might even get a better chance of unseizing it, so let's see. Okay, so that is the near side front or passenger side completely stripped off now. I'll just get the other side stripped off, and then I'll go through things and have a look and see what kind of condition things are in. Right, guys, so here we have a complete breakdown of the offside front. We've got a really rusty, old, vented and drilled disc. Luckily still got the retaining screw. Pads that are pretty much finished. A caliper that is not seized, so that's always a good sign. The retaining clip or spring clip caliper carrier here. So the parts I'm looking at replacing at the minute on this side, I think, to be honest with you, if I'm going to do a caliper on the other side, then I'm going to replace this caliper as well, just to have nice new reconditioned units, pads, discs. So that's this side completely stripped down. Be waiting on until payday to get new bits. I think at the minute it looks like the best place to get bits from is Burton Power. I think there's about, I don't know whether it's £20 or £40, but there's a surcharge on the front calipers anyway. When I last went to order, they didn't have the cylinders, so I didn't bother, but now they appear to be in stock. I better hurry up and get them. But yeah, discs, pads, all easy. It's just surcharge on the calipers as they're becoming rare. So I may buy a caliper for this side and keep this one as a spare, but send the other one back on a surcharge and get a reconditioned one. We'll see what happens, but either way, this side stripped. Let's go and have a look at the other side. Okay, so here we are back on the near side front, aka passenger side. Got one seized front caliper, one badly corroded, vented and drilled disc. Pads, nothing much to say about them really, and the caliper carrier and the sliding pins and the retaining spring clip. So parts to be replaced on this side, caliper, disc, pads. However, I will still be having a closer look at this to see if I can free it up in any kind of way. Have never really tried before, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can do it, but yeah, that's it, and then I'll start removing onto the rear. Okay, now time to move onto the rears. Let's have a look, see if we can get these drums off, but first I'll need to put the handbrake down. Spinning nicely on both sides. Now to just take the center out, take the bearing out, and hopefully the whole thing will slide off. Right guys, so here we have the near side rear drum brake off. As you can see, plenty of corrosion and plenty of dead spiders in here. I actually flicked out a live one a minute ago, so it's more than worth my while replacing these as well. Shoes are not the worst, but yeah, there's plenty of gunk in there, plenty of corrosion as well, so all of that's going to be replaced, and obviously going to replace the cylinder too. Bearings and everything seem fine at the minute. Obviously it's different when the car's got weight on it, it's got a load on it, and the wheels are on and it's moving, so we'll see what it's like. But I'll be stripping these out as soon as I get the new ones in, and yeah, let's go and have a look at the other side. Right guys, so this is the offside rear, pretty much the same as the other side. Not going to bore you with it. Gonna all be getting replaced now, so just gotta wait for those parts to come, and then that'll be it. Right guys, so over the past few days I've just been waiting for my order to come from Burton Power. Everything's come now and I've got it all in front of me. I'm going to run through it, make my comparisons, make sure that everything's correct for the car, so it's exactly the same as what I took off, and then the calipers will be going back on a surcharge, so I can get some money back, and yeah, that's it really. Then I'll start putting things on. Okay guys, so I've had my big Burton Power delivery come. There we have rocker cover gasket and some hydraulic lifters. I probably should have bought a whole set of lifters, but didn't think of it at the time. I just bought a couple thinking it may solve my problem. Obviously front discs, pads, reconditioned caliper, rear cylinder for the drums, rear shoes, and shoe fitting kit. So even though I could get all of these parts here, unfortunately I could not get my hands on a new or reconditioned set of drums, so I'm left with the original ones. But I did, however, just use my angle grinder with this wire wheel attachment. It's actually really good. Couple of seconds on the drum and it's come out like that already. So I'm thinking these rear ones, they're actually not that bad. They have no lippage on them whatsoever, so I'm just going to keep these and refurbish them myself, have them looking nice. But yeah, let's go through a comparison of some of the bits and just have a look and make sure that they're definitely the right ones. So let's just start off by having a look at these calipers, man. Look how brilliant this reconditioned one looks compared to the old one that was on the car. This particular one's actually seized, but it's so nice to be able to get a reconditioned part that's Ford as well, and it's not just some kind of pattern part from before. So really happy with the calipers. Can't wait to get them on. It will probably be tomorrow that I get them on now, because I'm kind of tied up doing a few other things today, but really happy with those calipers there. These ones will be going back on a surcharge. I think it's £20 a caliper I get off, so yeah, that's really good. So I'll put these away for now and we'll move on and look at the next thing. Right guys, so here we have a new pad and one of my old pads, and again these are exactly the same, so I'm happy I can just chuck these old ones away and move on with these new ones. As for the rear wheel cylinders, I'm not going to strip the rear drum setup until I'm actually going to be fitting anything. So I'll strip one side and I'll have the other side to reference to. That's why I don't have the shoes and the cylinders off. Don't want to strip everything because I would probably forget how to put it back together. Shoe fitting kit. Yeah, so at the minute, last thing to check, just make sure the discs are the same. Right guys, so here are my new discs, here are the old ones. Obviously the only difference between them is that these ones are drilled. So yeah, I've got another set of vented discs here. Like I said, they're just not drilled, but they're definitely the same. So these will be going on tomorrow as well, as soon as I get a chance, and these ones here will be going in the bin. Right guys, here are the Caliper Carriers. Obviously when you order new calipers, you do not get these with them, so these are going to be in need of a really good, nice clean up as well, because as you can see at the minute, they're a bit grimy and a bit dirty. I don't really think they're that rusty, but they're just very grimy, so I'll definitely be giving them a clean up, and that's about it, I believe. I mean, the drums, they'll be getting a nice clean up. They should come out pretty well. I'm not that worried about them. And these calipers I'll be packaging to go for surcharge, and I've definitely checked that I do have a left and a right new caliper and not two of the same side, so everything matches up, and I'm hoping it all goes plain sailing from here. Here are the drums. Here's one that I've spent about 20 minutes or half an hour on with a wire brush and brake cleaner and a bit of rag, so you can see the difference between that and this one that's yet to get the same treatment that I gave the nice looking one. So yeah, plenty of surface rust, all comes off pretty easily, and on the inside, rust, brake dust, and spiders webs and everything else in there. And this one is looking nice and clean inside, so all that's left to do is clean this one up. And then I will be refreshing the grease for the bearings, and then once I've swapped the shoes, the drums can go on. But I'm really happy inside as well. There isn't even really a lip in there. They're pretty good, so that'll be sweet. Right guys, so first thing I'm going to do is get one of these brake discs. I'm going to clean up all of this oil. You know, the oil's on there like it's a preservative, I guess, to stop the disc from rusting. I'm going to clean all of that up, and then I'm going to mount it up here, and I'll be putting the securing screw in. I know some people don't like putting them in. I happen to have, oh, wherever that went, two of them, one for the other side as well. So obviously it just stops the disc sliding off the hub when you take the wheel off and stuff. The wheel holds it on anyway, but I like to have the little securing screw on, so I'm going to clean this disc up and then start getting it mounted. Right guys, how good does that look? Finally having a disc on the Fiesta. Just going to put the securing screw in. It might require a little bit of tapping on to get it completely flat, but nonetheless, the disc is on. Just get this screw done up, get the disc sitting on there nice and flat, and then I can go ahead and start putting the Caliper Carrier on. Right guys, so it's time to get one of the Caliper Carriers on. They look pretty good actually. I haven't sprayed them or anything, I've just cleaned them up for now. So they're looking pretty sweet. So all I'll do is I'll get that mounted, and then it will literally be time for the pads and the caliper. So it doesn't take long at all, but it's already looking a million miles better. So I'll get this mounted now and then go for the pads and the caliper. Right guys, so here we have the disc and the caliper carrier on, and I'm really glad that it's on there and it's spinning nice and freely without any contact. So it's all looking good at the minute. It's time to get those pads on in a sec, but it's coming together nice and quickly. So I think this is going to be one of my most enjoyable jobs on this car. Sweet. Alright guys, time for some pads now. Pretty simple. They are just going to slot onto the carrier like so. So here we go. All looking good. I mean, some people go a bit mad with the copper grease or copper slip or whatever you want to call it. I know it can be good to put a little bit in here and here just so it doesn't rub and there isn't too much friction within these parts of the caliper carrier. Some people go mad putting it on the pad as well, and also on the slider pins. I'm just going to put a little bit on these ears or whatever you want to call them. I know this bit will have to be located within the piston of the caliper anyway, but for now, just going to get these on. I'll put a little bit of copper grease on them, and then I'll get the caliper out. So this is the copper ease that I've got. I bought it so long ago and I've never had to use it, so it's good to finally use some of the stuff that I've bought. Right, let's go get the caliper on now. Right guys, so this beauty is going to be going on next. One nice reconditioned caliper. Lovely. Excited to get that on and see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and start mounting it up. Just first things first, to connect the brake hose up, and then I'll insert the pad into the piston here and I'll put it on. I'll put the sliding pins in, and then that is going to be this side pretty much done. So just going to go ahead and connect that up now. Right guys, so that is the front brakes here on the offside complete. Everything's all good. Got a caliper on, caliper carrier on, the sliding pins are in place, the hose is on, the spring clip is on the front. Everything's looking good. So now I'm just going to turn my attention to the shoes, which is a job obviously I've been dreading. I know it's a little bit more time consuming than this, but once you get the knack of it, it's all good. But yeah, that's this side done for now. What a mission it was getting those on. So I've done this side. I just wanted to make sure that I could do it and it wasn't too difficult. What I'll do now is I'll go and move over to the other side and show that step by step. But yeah, man, got the new cylinders, got the new shoe fitting kit and the new shoes, of course. Got obviously had to transfer some bits like the lever for the handbrake and stuff. That all had to come from the old set of shoes. But yeah, that's it. It will be bearings, grease and drums on next on this side, but for now I'm going to go over and show you the other side. Right guys, so this is the Nearside Rear. I'm going to be showing you how I'm stripping this and putting it back together. For now, got some penetrating fluid on the back of the brake pipe there, just so that it comes off easily. There's actually some rust on the pipe itself which prevents the nut coming undone properly. So got some penetrating oil or fluid, whatever you want to call it, on there. I'll get with stripping the shoes, and then once the shoes are stripped I'll crack that off. Right now I actually don't know if there's a right or wrong way of stripping these. I know there's certainly ways that are going to be easier than others, especially when it comes to putting them back together. It's not the easiest job, but I normally just start by trying to strip some springs off, and then undoing these like retaining clips, and then just trying to pull it all out. There's yeah, I don't know if there's a right way of doing it really. So I normally just use some cutters or whatever to get a good grip on the spring, and just give it a good tug. And because these are old, they're not that tight, you can get them off easily, but putting them back like that's pretty much impossible. Now these retaining clips are pretty easy to get off. You just got to hold the back of them with your finger, get some pliers, put some force on them, give them a twist, and then they come off. You can just pull that off at the back. From here, I'll probably do something that I really shouldn't, but I'll just get them off in one block, and then slide the handbrake off. Or if you dismantle all of this, it will be easier to undo the handbrake cable, but I'll just pull it to the side. Get the cable off, and there we have it. Obviously this piece and this piece are going to be getting kept and put on the new shoes, but yeah, there we have it. I'll dismantle this now. Just be careful anything doesn't spring off, I guess, but yeah, this will come off pretty easily. And then I'll start stripping this for the bits I need for the new shoes. Stripping these isn't the worst anyway, just need to get the handbrake adjustment off and just pull off or break that old retaining clip, slip that out, and we'll just be putting that on the new one here. But I'll give it a quick clean up first because it's looking pretty horrible. Now for one of these clips, which just needs a good push on. Can just put it down on the floor, give it a push on with a tool, get that one in place. Okay, so now got the handbrake adjustment in place. Lovely. So guys, here we have the lever removed that the handbrake obviously attaches to. I'm just gonna fit that to this side of the shoes, and then I can start stripping the cylinder out. That's all good. So before I start putting these shoes back together with the new fittings and springs from the fitting kit, I'm going to strip this cylinder off. There's just two 10mm at the back, so I'll strip them off, but first of all I'll crack off the pipe for the brake fluid. So I'll crack that pipe off, undo that, then I'll undo the two 10mm and get the cylinder off, clean up this back plate area, and then start fitting the shoes back on. Right guys, so in undoing the cylinder, I was being very careful. I was using plenty of penetrating fluid, but the pipe is just too old and it's actually split. I don't know if you can see. I will strip it off and have a look, but I'm gonna have to be replacing this brake pipe here, which is not a problem. Should be able to sort something out. Right, so here's how things stand at the minute. Near side front is complete, just needs a bleed up. Near side rear has a snapped brake pipe. I'm gonna have to order a new one, and then the shoes and the cylinder will go on. Offside rear is complete, just bearings and drum to go on, and a bleed up on this side of course as well. Offside front is complete, just a bleed up required. Yeah, that's it really. I mean, I was really hoping that I'd be able to get it all finished today and maybe leave the bleed up for another day, because it's getting dark already. But unfortunately, because of that brake pipe, I'll have to order a new one or somehow find out what to do with it. You know, it's a setback, and to be honest with you, I thought I'd be more pissed off, but I'm expecting things to go wrong along the way, so it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, hopefully this week I can get a new brake pipe for that, and then just crack on and get the job finished. Right guys, here we go. Got my new brake pipe here, because as you know, the last one split. I've waited for this for just a couple of days. Ordered it from eBay. I've got to bend it into shape, but here we go. I'm going to try and put it on. So here you can see the new brake pipe that I've bent into shape. It just needs cutting. I ordered it, and I guess I measured it the slightest bit too long. So what I'll do now is just remove it cut it. Unfortunately, I actually had to go out and buy this flaring tool, because once it's cut, obviously I'm going to have to flare the end. So I'll do that, and hopefully I'll get the cylinder on and it will be all good. So I'm just going to remove it now and give it a cut and see if I can flare the end out. Right guys, so I now have my new brake pipe in place, and the cylinder is also in place. The brake pipe is not bad for my first time doing one and bending it by hand, so that's all good. All I'll do now is get the shoes on, then it'll be time for a bleed up, and yeah, that's going to be about it really. I'll put the drums on, bleed the brakes up, and see where I'm at. Right, so here we go. This side now is also complete. Really difficult to film it and do it at the same time because there are so many fails when it comes to putting these shoes on. But now they're all on, literally I built this side up with all the springs and everything, clipped the springs into this side while it was off, and literally levered it on, and it all pinged on at once. So now that's on, go ahead and get the drums and bearings on, and loads of grease of course, and start adjusting the handbrake. It's adjusted all the way back at the minute, and I just tried one of the drums and it slid on nicely, and so did the other side. So yeah, that's where I'll start from. Let's just get the grease and the bearings. Let's just make sure that the handbrake's working. Here we go. That's all good. The handbrake's adjusted, getting about 3 clicks either side. I've just got to put some grease in, put the bearings in, and then that'll be this side done. I'll go around and do the other side, and then it will be time for a bleed up. There you have it. That side's all finished. This corner's done. All just needs bleeding, so I'll get on with that in a sec. Going to vacuum bleed the brakes. Just means that I can do it by myself. I've never done it before, so it will be interesting giving it a go, but that's everything done. Right, so got some brake fluid in the brake fluid reservoir. Got my bleeding kit out here, extra brake fluid, obviously the bleed nipple, spanners. I'm going to give this a go. I've never done one of these vacuum bleeds before, but I'm assuming it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to attach it all up and see if I can draw through some fluid and some air from the lines. Right, so what I'm going to do is start bleeding up from this corner. I've never used one of these things before. I don't know if it's any good, but it's supposed to suck fluid through and bring all the air with it, but let's see how it goes anyway. Right guys, so that is front discs, front pads, front calipers, shoes, cylinders, and rear drums as well. Obviously I couldn't get the rear drum, so I had to refresh them myself, which actually came out really well. Really happy with that. And the bearings are all greased up as well, so everything's all back. I've bled the brakes. My mum gave me a hand pumping the brake pedal, and obviously I was at the bleed nipple waiting to see the fluid come through without any bubbles, and that all came out nicely. I've got a pedal, so it's not spongy, so that's really good. So when I do put the car down on the floor and try and give it a little drive, or you know, just see if the brakes are really biting, then that'll be cool. I'll know from there. Obviously I had to replace that rear brake pipe because it split on me, and I was going to do both, so I ordered 2 pipes. However, my theory behind it was, if I messed up trying to put it on the first time, then I can use the second one, because I actually measured it and I ordered them. They were slightly bit too long, so I had to cut the brake pipe down and flare it, but my cut wasn't exactly straight, so when the flaring tool hit the pipe, it started to flare it at an angle, so it was no good, so I had to chuck that one. Obviously learnt from my mistake, and the second one that I used came out really nice, so I didn't end up replacing the one on this side. I mean, it would have been good if I did both, but I'll have to just order that and do that when it comes to it. Got my Haynes manual here. I'm just going to be using this for some information, just to try and get the carb tuned up a little bit better, because one of the things is kind of bugging me. But yeah, my aims with this car at the minute are just to get the mechanics sorted the best I can. If I need any help, then I'll get help, of course, it's not a problem. I'm not scrimping on this car anymore, and then obviously it will eventually go and have all the bodywork sorted out, and then hopefully one day it will be nice mint XR2. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming to watch the channel. Hopefully in the next video I can get the car on the floor, like I said, and demonstrate the brakes working and the throttle working and everything that I've done recently, tying all together to allow me to actually drive the car. So that would be great. But yeah, guys, thanks very much for coming to watch the video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.